The rain had started without warning, cold, heavy, and merciless. Daniel pressed the car door shut, sighing as he watched the traffic crawl ahead. He was already late for his flight, his phone buzzing non-stop with reminders from his assistant. Business first, emotions later, his motto since the day he'd buried his father. But fate, as always, had its own sense of timing. At the next intersection, a frail woman stood by the crosswalk, drenched, holding a paper bag that was quickly melting in the rain. People passed her like she was invisible. Daniel might have done the same, if not for the way she kept looking at the cars, as if searching for someone who wasn't coming. He sighed, rolled down the window. "Ma'am, are you okay? Do you need a ride?" Her head turned slowly. Silver hair plastered to her face, eyes soft but distant. "You remind me of someone I lost," she whispered, voice trembling. Daniel hesitated. Something in her tone tugged at him, like a forgotten melody. "Come on," he said gently, unlocking the door. "You'll catch pneumonia out there." Inside, the car was warm. The woman clutched her soaked paper bag to her chest as if it were treasure. "Where are you headed?" he asked. "Maplewood Cemetery," she said. He blinked. "In this weather?" She smiled faintly. "It's my husband's birthday. I always bring him his favorite, blueberry muffins. I bake them every year. Though," she looked at her trembling hands, "they don't turn out the same anymore." Daniel's throat tightened. His mother used to bake blueberry muffins too, his father's favorite. Before the arguments, before the distance. Before Daniel chose work over family. He glanced at the clock. He'd miss his flight if he turned now. But something deep inside him, something human, wouldn't let him drive away. When they reached the cemetery, the rain had softened to a mist. The woman walked slowly, stopping at a small, moss-covered headstone. She knelt, placing the paper bag down. "Happy birthday, Henry," she murmured. "Still can't make them like you liked them." Daniel stood beside her, silent. She turned to him suddenly. "You look just like my boy did," she said, eyes glistening. "He left after Henry died. Said he couldn't stand the sadness anymore. Haven't heard from him in 7 years." Something inside Daniel cracked. He could almost hear his father's voice, warm, steady, proud. The one he'd ignored in his final months. "I'm sure he regrets it," Daniel said softly. "Maybe he just doesn't know how to come back." The woman smiled through tears. "Sometimes, you just have to show up. That's all love ever really asks." He drove her home afterward. Her small apartment smelled of cinnamon and old memories. She insisted he stay for tea. When she handed him a chipped mug, he noticed a framed photo on the mantel, a young man in a graduation gown. The resemblance was uncanny. It was him. Or rather, who he used to be, hopeful, kind, connected. Before money replaced meaning. As he left, she pressed the bag of remaining muffins into his hands. "For the road," she said. "And, thank you for stopping. You made an old woman feel less alone today." He smiled. "You did the same for me." That night, Daniel didn't board his plane. Instead, he drove 3 hours to his childhood home, the one he hadn't visited since his father's funeral. His mother opened the door, startled to see him standing in the rain, clutching a paper bag. "Hey, Mom," he said, voice breaking. "I brought Dad's favorite muffins." Her hand flew to her mouth as tears welled up. She pulled him into her arms, sobbing softly. Outside, the rain began to fade, replaced by the quiet hum of peace that only forgiveness can bring. Epilogue. A week later, Daniel returned to the cemetery, this time with 2 bags of muffins. He placed one on Henry's grave and smiled toward the sky. Sometimes, life brings strangers to remind us who we were, and who we still have time to become. Theme message. Kindness has a strange way of circling back, healing not just the one who receives it, but also the one who gives it.